All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our content creator panel. We have 6 amazing content creators up here, and that's kind of weird because I'm including myself, but we'll just kind of roll with it. We're going to start by just getting a quick introduction to all 6 of us. So, Jolly Roger, if you want to kick us off.
Yes, I am the Jolly Roger. I started day 1 of global launch, and I went straight to TikTok. So I'm primarily a TikTok Marvel Snap content creator, and yeah, that's me.
How you guys doing? I'm Ken, aka the Super Tech God. Been doing content since the beta, mostly on YouTube. I stream on Twitch, and I've also been dabbling in TikTok and Shorts now too as well.
My name is Binks. You can catch me at Binks Plays everywhere. I am a full-time content creator. I started the very first day of beta. I think I put out like my first Marvel Snap video the second day that beta was around. And yeah, I've been focusing mostly on YouTube, Twitch, with a little bit of TikTok and Twitter.
I'm Jesse Geese James, however you want to pronounce it. I am primarily a Twitch streamer, started a little bit after the Philippine open beta started in the soft launch. Primarily Twitch, exploring into TikTok and YouTube Shorts here recently.
Yo, it's D-Money here. I am a full-time content creator as well. I live with my parents, and yeah, I stream on Twitch mainly, but I have been making some YouTube content, and that's about it.
Hello, my name is Eddie. I stream on Twitch. I do YouTube videos, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok, so I'm a bit everywhere. Mostly variety and streaming Marvel Snap.
Awesome. So I think a really great place to start would just be kind of going down the line and talking about why did you start with content creation? Like, was it Marvel Snap that got you into it? Was there something before? What was your reasoning for going into content creation? And where are kind of your goals with it? Is it something that you just want to kind of continue to do as a hobby? Are you looking to kind of try and push towards full time? And what's really kind of like your guiding light right now with content creation for where you're going with it?
Yeah, so I can start. So I started in content creation by doing a podcast on movies and TV, and I always kind of wanted to go into something else. I was actually thinking of doing a Marvel Snap podcast. So if you watch the Snap Awards, you know there's a lot of great ones out there. But my best friend Tanner, who's actually here, he said, "Why don't you do TikTok? Because Snap would be great for TikTok." And I was like, "Sure." So about a week after global launch, I think I put my first video out. It was horrible. And then I just started posting TikTok. There wasn't a lot of Snap creators in the TikTok space. And one thing that I love seeing is that a lot of people are jumping over to TikTok now. Snap is a short game. It's a short form game. It's very high octane. It's very visual. And that's exactly what TikTok is all about. So I think TikTok, in my opinion, is the best platform for Marvel Snap content. One thing that I've discovered is that it's super easy. So with a young family, young kids, full-time job, I don't do content creation full-time. It's great because it fits with my schedule. It's something that I can do. I can have a clip recorded and a video posted in about 7 minutes. So the need to not do thumbnails and recording and being on stream for a certain amount of time is great for me and my current point in life. So I just want to continue to grow that and eventually get into streaming, but for me, I think it's a great way for anyone to get into content creation who's interested with a relatively low, barrier to entry.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I started doing content. I was doing like podcasts on reviews of TV shows and movies. I've also did some other things on fantasy football, as I was a commissioner. So every week we did a fantasy football podcast. So that's what really got me into content creation. And then when I started playing Marvel Snap and seeing people like Binks do these awesome videos and have a good time doing it, I figured, hey, I want to do the same thing. So I started doing YouTube videos. I've just got into TikTok, which is awesome. And yeah, same thing. I know a lot of people think, okay, when I start doing content creation, should I do this? Should I get the proper gear? Should I do X, Y, and Z? I don't think you should do that. If you want to do video, pull out your phone, do whatever you have, start making a video, see what happens. And if you really love it, you'll continue doing it. It won't be a hassle for you. And definitely, that's the thing. That's my advice to give to you guys is you want to do some content creation, just dive into it. And Marvel Snap is such an easy game to do it on because it's short, like you said, and it's super fun. So at that point, it becomes something you love to do.
Awesome. Yeah, I got into content creation right around like a little bit into COVID, so like mid 2020. I really enjoyed watching streaming content, watching other people play video games, and I just wanted to jump in. So I started, I got a crappy little webcam, and I started making videos of me playing Spelunky, and it took a really, really long time, and I think about 150 videos I had put out on YouTube before Marvel Snap came out. And I was streaming on Twitch a little bit here and there, but I kind of like just kind of like shooting YouTube videos and just talking into a camera because, with COVID, I lived alone, and having that kind of like social outlet to be able to kind of like talk to not my dog was something that I really wanted to do with content creation. So, or what I really wanted to do as a hobby. So it was a true hobby for a super, super long time. And, I'd put a lot of work into videos, streams, different things like that, and had pretty much no following, like 50 or so subs on YouTube, 50 or so followers on Twitch after 2 years of grinding and having these, things of going day after day. And then, I jumped on Marvel Snap right when it came out on the beta, and I started to finally get some momentum, and things just kept growing all through beta. Beta was much smaller as far as scale that it was before global launch came out, but we had a really, really cool and niche community, and a lot of people here I kind of met through those beta times. And then it's almost exactly a year ago today, I randomly got laid off from my sales job that I had. And, going full-time with content creation wasn't anything that I wanted or was even close to wanting to do at that point. But, I got a severance package, and I said, all right, well, let's put her head down and go for it. And then over time, growing on multiple platforms through YouTube, Twitch, and everything like that, I was able to make it something that's sustainable and kind of like really grow into the business side. So it started as something that was just like a true hobby. And I just kind of like built my craft of trying to be entertaining and talk, with no one to listen to. When you don't have anyone in Twitch chat, it's a lot different to stream when there's really no one to talk to and no one saying anything. So you kind of have to train yourself to just spew out whatever's on your mind. So it's been really, really cool over the last year to really kind of make this jump to having this be 100% of my focus. My goal for the future is just to continue this as long as possible. I think that Marvel Snap's in a really good place. I think that it's one of the easiest games to enjoy and make content about based on how the games are played and how everything happens. So my goal is just to continue this as long as possible, hopefully eventually move into another game and keep the ship sailing for as long as we can.
I actually started content creation as part of my 2022 rebalancing of life movement that I took on. I started to notice that I would say stuff like work is my hobby and that's what I'm passionate about. And I was really starting to burn out, and I didn't enjoy that feeling. So I wanted to get a real hobby and a real passion. So I started streaming just like Super Nintendo games. I was going to be more of the retro style, those old nostalgic, I just love them games. And I found that I enjoyed being on stream, and I enjoyed having a hobby and a passion that I could put something into. I really enjoyed, honestly, the back end of setting up your layouts and getting OBS to work and fighting with all those bugs, because it was very similar to my day job as well. It flexed the same skills, but it wasn't, it was for me, and that was nice. And then it started becoming for my community. And then Marvel Snap came along, and one of the things that didn't feel great about playing Donkey Kong Country was I'd get into a platform level and I'd get focused and I'd miss a chat message and I wouldn't interact with chat. Marvel Snap gave such a openness to be able to interact with chat. You could take 30 seconds, think your turn, play it out, and then talk immediately with chat. So that easy back and forth of playing a game that I really enjoyed and started falling in love with, enabling me to engage and interact with live chat, really ramped it up for me. And I'm coming up on my affiliate anniversary, and I'm starting right now to think a bit more about where my goals are and where I want to take it. And I've really enjoyed it. I think I want to keep it as a hobby primarily, but it's amazing to have a passion that is yours and your community's and is not tied to, something else that doesn't feel like yours. I bet a lot of the full-time content creators will probably say, like, maybe your hobby is your work, but for me, it was definitely work was my hobby, and I think that direction is not healthy. Whereas when you can find passion of something that's your community and you're doing, and make something out of it, and be able to make it your work, I think that is okay, and that direction is good. So I'm not going to start aspiring for that right away, but I think that I'm going to definitely aspire to grow my passion and increase the amount of content, which is part of the reason why I want to break into Shorts and TikTok, because I feel like it's kind of quick turnaround, and I see the benefits from it right away. Very similar to how Marvel Snap enabled me to talk with chat more easily and see those benefits right away.
All right. Yeah, it's very interesting that Binks actually said that he had gotten laid off of his sales job, because that's actually what happened with me as well. That's how I got started. I got laid off, and I really wanted to. I had streamed for a while, just very inconsistently, whenever I really felt like it. And I would stream for like 8 hours to 0 viewers, and it would be so demotivating. I would never start up my stream for another week and then do it all again. And then after I got laid off my sales job, and I was living with my parents, of course, and I told them, like, I really want to give streaming a real shot. So I said, I'm going to stream every single day for a whole entire year and see what happens. If it doesn't go anywhere, I'll get a real job again. But if it goes somewhere, then like that would be awesome. And I did stream every single day for, I ended up going for 630 days in a row. And I built my audience up, and I got partner within the first year, like almost towards 365 days in a row. And it's really all about consistency, and you gotta love the grind and everything. And I really love the grind. I love content creation. This has been my dream for so long. Like, I never thought I'd have somebody in my chat like with an emote to like my own emote, like putting it in chat. Like, it's so cool to imagine that. Like, it's I don't know. I always try to like inspire people to follow their dreams, because anybody could do it. Really, you just gotta really love it. And yeah, that's how I did it. And I like to consider everybody in chat as like my friends. It's just like I'm hanging out, playing games with my friends, and just having a good time. Yeah.
I don't know if I can follow that, but I'll try. Yeah, so before content creation, I was a pro wrestler. So I used to do a lot of wrestling matches, entertainment, and all that. And once COVID started, COVID hit, and everything shut down, I couldn't perform anymore. So I had to find a different way to perform, entertain people. So that's how I jumped into content creation. I got kind of lucky in that sense that I already had a following from pro wrestling and some friends who were also in that. So I really got lucky that I kind of never started with the zero viewership or anything like that. I really got into it with already a following from that, but I did jump into Twitch and YouTube and all that. And I found out that very quickly, video games are expensive, huh? Because I started with Variety, and that was the worst idea ever, buying a brand new video game every single week for 2 years. And in Canadian, it was $100 a video game for those 2 years, and I never skipped a week. It was every Friday I had to find a new game to play. I would buy it, stream it all the way. And thank God Marvel Snap showed up. So when Marvel Snap showed up, my content very much switched from going from a review impressions of new games to an interactivity type streams, where now, again, like GC just said, those 3-minute games with 30-second breaks in between gave me an opportunity to interact way more with people and to get the community to jump into the game, right? It's very hard for me to buy a new game and convince people to, you guys should all jump in with me, pay this $100. And then them all knowing, next week, I'm not playing that anymore. So Marvel Snap really came in and was able to help build a community and kind of get more niched and variety. And so long-term goal right now is kind of to just kind of go with the flow. It is the hope and dream one day to be able to do it full-time. I feel like the last 6 months is looking way better than it's ever had before, financially, from that sense. But yeah, it's kind of like go with the flow for Snap for now. But in my heart, I know one day I'm going to want to go back to Variety as well.
Oh, thanks so much, Eddie. The only person in history who moving to Marvel Snap has been a financial good thing for them. So yeah, you know, there's a first time for everything. We're gonna do about 2 more rounds of questions, and we're gonna try and keep our answers to about a minute each for time's sake. So all of us have been content creating for a while. There's lots of things that you learn over time. So if you can give one example of you know, something that you did early on that was like a mistake, or something that you learned from, and kind of give some advice to someone who might be just starting content creation or is thinking about starting content creation, what would you say?
Yeah, so I would say specifically on TikTok, I just to reiterate, I think it's the best entry point for anyone wanting to get into content creation. The barrier entry is very low. It's free to create a TikTok account. You don't have to set a schedule per se. You can kind of do it on your own time and figure things out. What I've specifically learned about what works for me on TikTok, people want to see the high action points of the game, and TikTok is a very short form thing, so I rarely post turn 1 through 6 on games. I usually cut it down to turns 5 and 6. I cut it down to the information you need to sort of tell the story arc of that specific video, that specific game, and that's really helped my videos stay engaging the entire time. I usually try to add some entertaining and cool music to kind of up that ante. And so for me, I would say if you're trying to jump into TikTok, if you want to make short form content, try to make sure that 1, your content tells a story, 2, that it's engaging throughout, and 3, that you cut out the unnecessary things that might get people's attention to sway. And then just kind of perfect your craft. Like my first videos were awful. You know, I've gone back and watched them and I'm like, these are bad. And you just accept that, right? You know, you're going to grow and you're going to improve your process. And along the way, you're going to figure out who you are as a creator, right? I think it's important that you put your own personal twist on it. Because at the end of the day, people come to the content creators for the creator, not the content first, in my opinion. People want to see Binks or STG or D-Money or GC or Eddie. You know, they're coming for them first, and yes, they do also make great content, but without that personality, without you, your content is just meaningless. So I think that's another thing, is don't lose yourself in the grind of trying to create great content. Put your own stamp on it and put yourself out there and make sure that you are part of your content, because that's ultimately what people want to see.
That's awesome. Yeah, for me, I mean, what I learned is to keep things simple. Going into content creation for the first time, I wanted to make sure I had the perfect thumbnail. I used to add a bunch of stuff to it, try to tell a story in the thumbnail versus in the video, and that did not work out for me, because what happened is I will take forever just to put out that video, and then by that time it's over. As you guys know, in Marvel Snap, everything changes week to week, so to sit there and try to have the perfect thumbnail or the perfect story, put your video out, it's not going to work for you. So my advice is just put it out there, make it as simple as possible. Simple makes it happen, it works, and just do what you're doing.
Yeah, I got 2 little bits of advice. The first one is that if you want to start to grow right now, especially in something like Marvel Snap, that's not something that's brand new. I was very lucky I could just start putting out deck videos because I was the only one doing it, and that's kind of how I got my growth. Now there's 150 people doing that every single day. If that's just what you're trying to do to start, you're going to kind of get you know, a little bit lost in the sauce. So I would say try and find something that's different, that's unique to you, to try and latch onto, that's different than anything that you've ever seen. I use Ken just started the collector series where he's, you know, kind of has someone on, flexes variants, talks about like different splits, which is something that's very on brand for him. And you know, I think you said it's your best YouTube video you've ever put out. So trying to find little things like that is important. The second would be try and also use some kind of platform where you have to edit your videos. So some people will just start streaming, and then they will just stream for X amount of time, turn it off, stream, turn it off, stream, turn it off. It's really hard to learn about how to get better when you're doing that. When you actually have to watch yourself and listen to your own voice, which was a nightmare for me for a really long time, like having to like watch myself and listen to your own voice. You actually see, you know, what you're doing that's entertaining, what you're doing that's funny, what you're doing to that you think went well, that you can highlight. Whereas, you know, it can be really easy if you're just Twitch streaming to just turn the camera off and like completely blank out and forget what happened for the last 6 hours, because that's what I do a lot of times when I Twitch stream, and I only actually learn when I go back, edit the videos, and see the content. So try and do something where you can actually witness yourself doing it, and you know, take those uncomfortable steps of actually watching your own content so you can find ways to improve it.
Wow, I got to come up with something that hasn't been said yet. Yeah, I definitely want to reiterate, because that's something I definitely learned. Do not let perfection or even good be the enemy of complete. And yeah, I wish I would have pushed through and done more editing, because I'm developing those skills now, and I could have been developing them the whole way. I think another thing that I learned pretty early on was, and really helped me get into my groove and my brand, was stop looking at the viewer count. It does not matter if there's 10,000 people in your stream or if there are 0. Perform, be there. And to that point, I know for a fact, I've watched some of my friends and I've lurked while I'm sitting editing a video and they're on my 5th monitor, and they thought they had 0 viewers. You can't necessarily trust that view count. People use Chromecast, they use PS5s. It's a really complicated thing to aggregate who's active or not actively watching. So always perform, get that groove, build your brand. Because if someone pops in and you're silent for 30 seconds, you've lost their interest.
That is completely correct. I have 2 things here. One, I think that's very overlooked, is watch your VODs. I think, like, I like to watch my recordings, my streams on Twitch back, and put myself in the shoes of like a viewer and see how maybe the streamer, like myself, would respond to something that somebody says in chat, and maybe if I think that I could have responded better, like if I'm watching it back, then try to improve on that next time I get that kind of question. Just like seeing also like the volume levels and just like the overall viewer experience watching back your VOD, I think is really important. And kind of alluding to that as well, something yesterday when Cozy was accepting like his award from one of the Snap Awards, he said that he was improving on his YouTube videos every single video. He would improve something. And when I was streaming every single day, I would always try to improve something for the next stream, whether it was like adding new commands or adding like a little bit of a new graphic on the stream to help improve the stream in any kind of way. That really helped out a lot, I think, yeah.
I'm not happy that I'm the last one to go. Yeah, basically everything they said, I've made all those mistakes, kind of what they said. So the last thing I'll kind of add to it is that feedback-wise is try to be patient. This one, they're off? Okay, we're good. Try to be patient. A lot of people start streaming or start getting into content creation expecting numbers immediately. And kind of, if you guys heard all the stories, like everyone starts and it's like nothing or very low for a year, 2 years, but because we continue to be consistent, something finally clicked, right? Whether it is you got lucky and a video finally popped off, or you got into a niche that you got lucky, not lucky, but you were in a niche at the right time, or you know, you finally improved enough of your content that now people are enjoying it. I see it a lot, and it's happened with me as well, where it's like I'll post content, I'm like, it's not getting anything. I'm done. I'll give up. But it's kind of like it's very easy for people to think that I'll just go live and people are going to show up. But no, it's going to take some time. So yeah, you got to stream consistently, sometimes 600 days in a row. Sometimes you got to post videos on YouTube every single day for 2 years before something finally happens. So you can't go into content creation in general expecting numbers or expecting results immediately. So you really need to learn to be patient with it. Think long term. Don't think short term when it comes to content creation.
Yeah, really great points. With the luck thing, and I think about the way that you just mentioned, you know, getting lucky a lot. You have to get lucky to become a full-time content creator. I was incredibly lucky to be in the position that I was when I was, and I'm sure D-Money feels a very similar way, that he had points where he got very lucky. But even though you get lucky, you have to put yourself into a position where you can get lucky, where your content is a point where it can catch people if you do catch that fire. So it's all about setting yourself up where if you are one of the lucky people who get that spark and you get that chance to grow, you're ready for it and you've gotten to the point. So it is getting lucky, but you have to put in a lot of work to be able to get lucky like that and to be able to leverage it. So it's something that I mean, I always say, I think the person who could be the best content creator ever, I'm sure there's plenty of people who are insane, amazing content creators who are still getting 10 views of video and who are putting it out, and it's tough to think about stuff like that. And if you're ever gonna want to be a full-time content creator, I would never go into content creation having that be the goal. I always think that should be something that's it's something that you love, it's something that you want to learn, it's a hobby, and then you can set yourself up to get lucky like that. Because if that passion's not there and that love isn't there, people can tell that you're just sitting there waiting for your break to get a few hundred viewers to have people to talk with in your chat. We have about 5 minutes, so we're going to go really quick, about a minute per question, and we'll start with Eddie this time. So we'll go the opposite way. What is your favorite thing about being a content creator? What is one thing that you truly love about being able to share and be a part of this community?
Okay. My favorite thing is I get to go first. I'll go with the challenge. I love the challenge that every single stream or every single video gives to me, right? The idea that you're creating content is not just, I'm gonna do the same thing everyone else is doing. It's, what can I do that's different from everyone else? What am I gonna do on my stream today that's gonna make people remember my stream over anyone else's, or remember my video, or click on my video instead of someone else? So keeping it short and sweet, I'll say the challenge of content creation is my favorite part.
Yeah, my favorite part is just making people happy, just making the chat entertained and everybody just having a good time. That's what it's all about for me. Everything I do in my stream is just if I do over dramatic kind of stuff, if I fall out of my chair, if I get unlucky or something like that, it's just because I know it's gonna get a good reaction. People are gonna like it, and it's just fun. It's just having a good time with the chat.
Such a tough question because there's so many great things. Honestly, just having the time. Doing content creation and doing creation on things that I enjoy, like Marvel Snap or otherwise, having that set aside as a dedicated time is probably my favorite bit. Because even playing video games, even playing that first Donkey Kong Country, I love going back and playing that game. But because it wasn't a dedicated thing, I didn't make the time. So actually it being content creation and pushing it out to other people prioritizes it to actually fit in my schedule and be structured, and that's my favorite part.
Yeah. For me, I really like the moments. There are just some moments that I can literally think back to that were so amazing. Hitting a insane ego game that has this amazing pop off, and seeing the chat reaction. Going back when I competed in Conquerors and I had this crazy, insane run, and I don't even remember anything that happened during the time, but just remembering going from being oh, okay, I finished something, but now I actually might have won this tournament. There's just these amazing moments that you get with streaming, whether you have 5 people in your chat. Because I remember things back before I had any community, when I had 2 people watching. There were just these amazing moments and these clips that I've took and are just things that I remember and always play in my head. So it's the little amazing moments that you get to be a part of when you're creating content and doing things live.
Yeah, my favorite thing is the community. I enjoy talking to people, having them have someone they can talk to and be relatable to, and having a good time with. Even last night, I went back to the hotel and started streaming. Had to let the people know how the day went, had a good time, and I think that's what I like the most, is interacting with everybody and giving somebody, something they could talk to and be relatable with.
Yeah, I'm going to echo what STG said. I think it's the community, and one of my favorite quotes is, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And so that can be in person or digital, and in the Marvel Snap community, we have such a good, wholesome community that you can surround yourself with people that are killing it in the game, that are getting new, that are on their journey. And so for me, that's probably the thing that I've enjoyed the most, is just getting to meet creative and innovative people in different spaces that are being themselves and pushing the boundaries of what can be done. And it inspires me to continue to do what I do.
All right, well, thank you all so much for listening. Let's get a round of applause for these awesome content creators. And we got some more awesome events coming up really soon.